Kia ora malfunction. My name's Ngare Rae and I work at Manaia Health PHO as the health promotion manager there, and I've come in today to talk about our Beds for Christmas kaupapa.
See, a lot of people don't know about that. So give us a big idea of what that is.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So Beds for Christmas this is the second year that we've run it. It's a collaboration. We're working with Habitat for Humanity, and one of the programs that we run at Manaia Health PHO is our Manawa Healthy Home Initiative. And what happens in that program is we get referrals from health services. A lot of our referrals come from the children's ward up at the hospital, and they're for children that may have been hospitalised because of a housing-related illness, like bronchiectasis, any kind of upper respiratory tract infection. So basically kiddies who are getting sick because of their the state of their housing. So we'll get the referral from the hospital, and let's say the family comes from Kaikohe, then we'll send the referral through to one of the kaimahi that works up there, and they'll visit the family.
I mean, a lot of people don't know these Maori words,
right?
Even though they live in New Zealand.
Yeah, okay.
And even I don't know a bit of it. I'm going to college next year.
Shall I do both words at the same
please.
time? Okay.
Thank you.
So we get the referral, and then we'll send them to the community health worker, or kaimahi.
Thank you.
And they'll visit with the family in their home, and we do a whole lot of assessments. It's a housing assessment, but we really are trying to look at all the things that will help keep the house warm and dry. Because if your house is warm and dry, then it's much more likely to be healthy. And one of the things that we find, and we were really surprised at this, is that the number of families that need beds for their children, sleeping spaces for their children. So a lot of children are sleeping on mattresses on the floor. A lot of children are sharing a bed with their other siblings or with their parents, or they might be sleeping on the couch. There's a lot of need for their own sleeping spaces. So we just finished doing a big kind of tally up of how many beds are needed, and we've got a need of about one bed for every day of the year, so it's like 356 beds that we know are needed by children in Northland at the moment, and that's just from the Manawa Healthy Home Service that we know about.
I mean, we were talking off air. I mean, my Facebook friends were listening to that, but I've lived in many homes. I've been living. I moved out of home when I was 16, 17. And so I went to Auckland. So I lived amongst Pākehā people, Europeans. I lived amongst Islander people, Tokelauan, Rarotongan. This is, in my teens, before I even got to 20. And so I saw all these different families and all the different things that you could experience, what you're talking about. And even in my adulthood, I always lived with someone else because I didn't rent. I mean, I rented, but I didn't own a home of my own. And so, apart from the 9-year period where I was married. And so after that, I went back into renting again and flatting again. And I've lived amongst so many Maori families and young Maori families, and, they didn't have beds for their children.
Well, I think, as we were saying, like, there's lots of reasons why people may not have beds,
What are the reasons?
Well, we've got quite a high, people move a lot, and sometimes you can just pretty much move with your car and put what you can fit in the car, and it's quite hard to move a bed. It can be that there's just not enough money to prioritise that. I mean,
it is a huge expense.
Yeah, it is a huge expense. So I think, we know that there's an issue, we know that there's a need, and one of the things that we're trying to do with Beds for Christmas is address the need by encouraging people to be generous, and if they can either give us some money or donate a bed. And lots of people will have a spare single bed. Or they'll have the bunk bed that the kids have now grown out of, and that there's no way the kids want to share the bunk bed anymore. And so it's really just asking people to think, you know, do they have a spare bed that they can donate? And we're asking people to drop beds into Habitat for Humanity Restore, which is down Kiorero Road, and if they have good quality linen or bedding or blankets, duvets, anything like that they'd like to donate for children, so they can have a bed for Christmas, really.
What I'm thinking is, so places like hospices, which actually, when you talk about linen, they have linen there.
Yeah, yeah, they do, and they usually charge for it. So
yeah, but these are, I mean, so I'm going to be a bit iffy here, and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So here's the thing, guys. So you have bedding at home, and you want to get rid of it. Just take them down to Habitat for Humanity.
Well,
for this period.
Yeah.
Because this is an important period.
Obviously, if people are, if people have a, you know,
or even go to the hospice and buy it and take it there.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, if people don't have bedding or a bed or a bunk to donate, and they want to support this, then donations can be made to Habitat for Humanity. They've got a special bank account that they've put aside for it, and there are going to be some costs for us as well, like delivering the beds to families. So any kind of monetary donations like that would help. One of the really important points to say to people is that every bed donated will go to a family in need. Yeah. Every bit of money that's donated will go directly to helping get beds to families. So we are a health service, and we get funded from the Ministry of Health for the coordination of this project.
See, that's what I was going to ask next.
We don't get any money to actually buy the things that families need. We can identify what they need, but we don't actually get any funding for that. So
the next question is running through my head is, what about WINS?
Yeah,
isn't WINS supposed to be doing this?
That's an option for families, definitely. And when we are talking with families, when we're identifying the needs, some of them can go to work and income and get a recoverable grant for a bed, but a lot of people have run out of their recoverable grant allowances, so they don't have that ability anymore, or they've already got a significant amount of debt with work and income. So most things, you know, work and income, yes, they could buy the bed, but they'll have to pay that back. Yeah. And some people are already paying back significant amounts that they've had from work and income in the past. So, those are options, but also...
but like you said, there's limits to them.
Yeah.
And there are walls to that. Yeah. And, so, I mean, this is a good time for people to actually go through their cupboards and go, what? This is, because it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Let's have a spring clean of your cupboards and go, well, I don't really need that now. Jeff's grown up. Mary doesn't need that.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't like that friggin' thing anymore. She doesn't like, he doesn't like Spider-Man. She doesn't like the Wonder Woman blanket, so that sort of thing. So, or the pillowcases, or the pillows, and, Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's an opportunity for people, a lot of people at Christmas now are rejecting the kind of the Coca-Cola Santa Claus commercialisation of Christmas, and they're thinking it's more about giving rather than receiving, and that we can give in ways that are that don't buy into commercialisation. Yeah. So, giving to charity, giving to other people. Yeah. So it's really just kind of putting this out as an option for those that are wanting to give back to their community at Christmas. Yeah.
Well, charity begins at home, right?
Yeah.
We always talk about that, and it's become a cliche, and that's what happens with things like when you talk about it a lot, it becomes a cliche, and then we've got to reject it because it's become a cliche. But if we kind of want to change the world.
Absolutely.
And then you go, well, it's too much. But then you go, well, how about we change a little bit of our neighbourhood?
Yeah, absolutely.
And out of that neighbourhood, then we give a step up to somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just watching this documentary this past week about slavery. It's called The Price of Free in India. But not only there, around the world, child slavery.
Yeah.
You know.
And if things are really cheap, then we have to be asking ourselves, well, what's the price of that?
That's it.
Why is that?
Yeah. So it's incredible. They go, oh, this is $5 now. It was $20 before. And, oh, it was $100. Well, it's only that because a kid made it, or a young girl made it somewhere in Bangladesh. You know, we hear stories about how the factories burned down, and all this horrible stuff. But then we go, oh, we want cheap stuff. Yeah. We want beautiful looking stuff.
Yeah, if we think back to, we could try and get funding to buy beds and, shout out to ANZ Staff Foundation. Actually, they gave us some funding this year and we could buy new beds for families, which was awesome, which we've spent all that. But, I think the other thing about it is that there are this community, we can reuse goods within our community. I
always buy second-hand now.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, even my jeans, like we're talking about heavy different human. This is a $3 pair of jeans. This is my favorite pair of jeans.
Yeah, they're cool jeans.
Right? And because it's the only one that actually is comfortable.
And I'm the second-hand queen.
Yeah.
Usually I just rock everything second-hand, but I'm wearing my
motivated.
Motivated.
What does that mean, motu?
But that's a whole other kaupapa.
Okay. It's all right.
But motu is island.
Yeah.
So it's about looking after our whenua, looking after our islands.
I think you're looking at your watch there, so
well, I'm just thinking, I came in to talk about beds for Christmas, which was really cool, but I know that my mate Hannah also wants to talk about her awesome party.
I'll put her on soon,
because Hannah they're going to support our beds for Christmas kaupapa, so
the reason I'm going to be there because I looked at it and thought, I don't have any money, but I can do something. And so we're going to do a poker game. So we can get people involved in that practical side of things, so that they can, buy chips, and that goes towards that. I think that's the thing, the practical side of it, because if you don't have the money, what else can you do? And then you can look in your cupboard. And I think that's something that's important, is to if you can't do something, think of what you can do, because a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, and if people can't, donate themselves, or that, we've, it's on the Beds for Christmas campaign's on our Manaia PHO website. Yeah. It's on our Facebook page, and so even if people just liked it and shared it, just to get the word out, that would be really cool. Just even talking to your friends, and just, I think, being aware of the need, and so.
I was talking about kids falling out of beds while I was living in family homes, flatting and stuff. People don't realise what that does to the child's body and brain and stuff. And we're just talking about concussions and stuff. I've had concussions, and I know what that's doing to me now. The last concussion I had was probably about 4 years ago, and that was really bad. And so, when you're at that earlier age, and you guys know more about this than I do, about children's growth and mental health and how that affects them, as you're growing up with injuries from a child, from being baby to growing up to teen, whatever, and those learning, they said the first 7 years is the most important years of a child's life, where they learn most of what they're going to do in life, or,
our brain development is really significant then,
So, then if they're falling out of beds...
Yeah, I hadn't, to be honest, I hadn't really heard about the falling out of bed thing before our conversation, but, just thinking about housing and health, and one of the biggest issues that we're finding in Northland is the amount of mould that's in houses. Yeah. And often people sleeping on the floor, so the damp and the mould and the mattress, and that's just really, really bad for people's health. So the benefits for children's health by having their own bed, they're going to get a better night's sleep, they're going to be able to do better at school.
Yeah.
They're going to, there's a whole lot of kind of really flow-on effects from that. They're going to be warmer. There's going to be less chance of an infection. So, yeah, there's
so much to it.
Yeah, so much to it.
And people don't, and I hadn't thought about it until we've been talking about it. Just jumped in my head that when you're sharing a bed with a younger child, you're always pulling the blanket off them, or you're bumping into them because you don't you understand the fact that there might be their head's only up to your chest, or you're getting elbowed or whatever, and it's all these little practical things that we don't think about when sharing a bed. I've shared bed with my siblings, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
and I think there are some real health safe concerns around co-sleeping with very young babies.
Yeah.
And so if people are interested in that, then there's some really safe sleeping is a good thing to think about. And there's lots of different options that we have, like we have wahakura, which are woven, or pepe pods, which are woven.
That was what I was thinking about. It was this week they were saying, but there was a whole bunch was made. Was it in Northland? Tell us about that.
Well, it's not something I know hugely about, but one of the things that was quite risky for very young babies is co-sleeping with their parents, particularly if, say, the mama smoked, or there was was exposure to smoking for the baby while the mother was pregnant, because the baby is more likely to have some compromised or not be as strong in their breathing. So one of the things that health and different people have been doing is promoting the idea of using a wahakura or a pepe pod.
Yeah.
So the baby has
this is made out of flax, isn't it?
Yeah, so the wahakura is a woven bassinet, and a pepe pod is sort of like a plastic box, and they've got its own mattress and bedding, and it's the baby's own safe sleeping space, but it can be in the bed with the parents.
Okay, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, but that is, I think that's probably a whole other topic in itself, and I know just a little bit about it, and it would be great for you to talk about that, but maybe someone who knows a little bit
it's just
more.
popped in my head because I saw that come across on my Facebook page. Because that's the thing. I mean, like, we've got so many access to so many different media outlets, and so
and there's so many different messages out there.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna